Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of this dragon egg video from Magical Worlds by Johanna Basford. Now, we obviously did the egg last time. I am thinking I might want to put a little bit of shadow and things like that on the egg from the dragon and bits and pieces, but I haven't quite thought that through yet, so I'm going to work on the dragon and then have a little think about that as I go. Now, I've made up my mind as to what colour I'm going to be doing the dragon, and I've decided I'm going to use these sort of violety purples, which I think will work well with the gold, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to sort of think where am I going to go light and where am I going to go dark, and I think the main bulk of the dragon, the sort of background of the dragon, I'll do in a lighter tone because I can cover the whole thing with a lighter colour to start with and make my job a little bit easier, and yours. So let's grab our lightest colour, which is going to be let me have a quick look, mauve. So we're going to use the mauve as our lightest. Here it is, mauve, and I'm just actually going to do the whole dragon in a mauve. I might not worry about these spiny bits to start with, so it's a really simple process of just filling in with mauve. Now ideally I want to try to get it reasonably even, particularly on the bits where there isn't any other colour, because these bits are going to have other colours on them, but particularly on the bits where I'm not going to add any more colour. But I'm not going to get too het up about it because I know that I find it really difficult to get an even covering throughout, and so I'm not going to put pressure on myself because it's about having fun. Now you might think, oh, the fact that I'm going over all these bits means that when I come around to colouring them, they're going to be a different colour to the pencil. Yes, they are, but I don't mind. Now, I'm just thinking here, we've got these spines here, which are these, which I haven't coloured. So I think I might try to not colour those just so that they can be the same colour, but it doesn't matter that much. Certainly my eye wouldn't notice, but they're big enough for me to not worry about them. Now, why am I colouring over everything and not colouring around it? Well, I find that when I try and colour around things, my accuracy is lower, so I end up leaving white, either leaving white around the outside of the item, or I go over the line. So I find it really hard to get the colour even when I'm colouring around a lot of little details. So it seems to make sense to make my background colour the lightest and colour over everything. And then, because all my colours are going to be purple, it doesn't matter that there's a bit of a light purple base, especially as I haven't pressed that hard. That's part of the key as well. If you're pressing really hard, you might find it hard to get more colours on top. So just be a little bit careful. I probably should have said that at the beginning, but it's not the end of the world. You can always use a pen, or put some, if you put some, what's it called, over the top, what do people put on top? Is it gesso or something like that? You get an extra layer of that you can colour on. I think it's white, so I don't know. Anyway, it should be okay. You'll be fine. So even these sort of feathery bits, I'm going to colour over. We won't do the horny bits, whatever. I guess they're horns. I don't know, because they're easy enough to miss out. Now I want our dragon's fang to be white, so I am going to be a little bit extra careful there, although you can go over it with a white pen, and I might end up doing that anyway if I accidentally colour over it, which I have. So I'll be going over that with a white pen anyway. Right, there's my base. That's as easy as that. So that's the mauve done for now. And I'm going to grab the Violet Deep. Now it sounds like it's a really dark colour, but actually it isn't. And what I'm going to do with this is do the edges of our dragon just a little bit darker on the sort of neck, body and tail. I'll show you from here because this bit is a little bit bigger. So here on the very edge I'm going to do a line of this and then scumble it in towards the middle. Very much like I did with my first layer on the egg, if you have watched that video. I know we haven't done the hands, have we? That's okay, they can be a different colour anyway. So like that, just sort of scumble in, and then here as well, a little bit there and there. Now with the body here, we're now avoiding our bit, but it's okay, so we're just putting a little bit in there and then a little bit in here. I quite like being zoomed out like this. Do you know why? I could come in a bit closer though, because you can't see all my little mistakes as easily. But I sometimes think there's value in you seeing those, because I think it helps you realise that there's no need to be perfect. It isn't about that. We're not trying to do our very best piece of artwork so that we can display it at the Royal Academy's summer exhibition. We are just learning, enjoying a process, relaxing, hopefully, and having fun. It shouldn't be about perfection. And I know some of you find it really tricky that you don't even colour in the book because you're worried about ruining it and things like that. But I think it's a learning experience. We all have to start somewhere. Imagine if you were a 4-year-old, or you were talking to a 4-year-old and they said to you, I'm really scared of colouring in my colouring book because I might make a mistake. What would you say to them? You would say, oh, just go for it and have fun. It's fine, enjoy it, you know, and you'd be really kind. So be kind to yourself as well, you know, think it's okay. It's just about fun and learning, and if I don't do it wrong, how will I ever learn? And if I have that mistake in my book and I keep seeing it and I'm kind to myself, it will keep reminding me that, you know, where I've come from and that I've improved and that, you know, I'm going to do better next time and that it's all okay and that I'm giving myself permission to not be perfect. Right, we're doing a little dark bit at the bottom of the chin here. Now, I have never ever completed a picture that was perfect or done anything as far as I can tell, and according to me that was perfect. It doesn't mean I'm beating myself up about it. I'm just thinking I can do better next time. Every time leads to improvement. Right, there is the sort of, I don't know if that's a bit pale, but we will see as we move through whether it is or not. So I am going to go for I'm just looking and thinking, right, mulberry next, and I'm going to do the spines and the fingernails. I know. So this is the mulberry. Now this is a slightly pinker tone, which is why I've chosen it for this, because I think it will help it to stand out. What a lovely nail polish you do have, Dragon. Now with these spines, I'm going to just try and fade them slightly towards the tip, if I can. You can just block it in if you prefer. It's not going to make a big difference. And actually, you know, if you want them to look, excuse me, hard and shiny, like they might be made of the same stuff as nails, then maybe they would be blocky, if that makes sense. But I just want to fade mine. It's just how I like to colour. It's just a personal thing. And we're just doing them all the same. Yeah, I was a little bit concerned that I wouldn't have enough different shades of purpley violet to be able to do this dragon in this colour, which is why I was dithering a little bit about colour. But I had a good look, and I was confident I could find enough. Some of these are a little bit paler than I had initially planned, so I may change it up a bit if I'm not happy with it once it's done. We'll see. Now these are on the edge. There's a lot of dragons in this book, isn't there? I suppose we had quite a few dragons in Ivy, didn't we? Well, the same dragons through the book. I wonder if that got a bit boring for Johanna. But then it didn't get boring for me colouring them. But then I coloured them different colours, whereas she is just drawing them. I'm going to sharpen up for these thinner ones at the bottom. Now, I think I revealed this in a different video, but you may not have watched it. There was Johanna did a video with Emily Illustrator. They did a live together, and Johanna revealed that next year she's going to have 2 books out. And that was quite a revelation. I suspect that one will be a sort of regular colouring book, and one will be something a little bit different. I'm guessing. I've got no idea. She didn't reveal anything. And Emily said, you know, do your publishers stop you from saying anything? And she said, no. But I think she gets rather reluctant to say anything until she's 100% sure of her idea. That's my guess. That's how I would be feeling. I'm going to do these in this colour too. And again, just sort of fade them out from this straight edge. But she revealed nothing, so I don't know what it is. But I know she's a charity ambassador for the Archie Foundation, whether it's a fundraiser for them, which would be really lovely, or what else could it possibly be? I'm just trying to grab my next colour. I am going to go for the heather purple. Here it is. And I'm going to do these sort of feathery bits, again using the same sort of fading technique. I rather like it for these feathery bits because it will look like they're overlapping each other if I can get it right. So if you make it darker down here at the base and then fade it to the tip, so that by the time you get to the tip it's really, really faint. Remembering we've got the mauve there underneath, so even if you've got no pencil there you'll still have a tad of colour. Then when you do the next layer, it looks like they're shadowed from this layer above. My other guess is that maybe it's a little Small Victories type book, but the last one took her a year, so I don't know. Or maybe it's another how to draw type one, which she did. Because she did, what was it, 30 Days of Creativity and then How to Draw. That 30 days one, I completed it in 28 days because I made a video for each page. But my drawing left not good. I think part of my problem is my lack of confidence and lack of enjoyment, to be fair. I like colouring, that's my thing. So, but anyway, I had a go, and that was the main thing. So who knows what it is going to be. I was thinking maybe there's a follow-up to Ivy, but I think she'd said she didn't have plans for that. And she hasn't got plans for a Halloween book or a Christmas book, so can't be that. Oh, I do know about someone else's book though. Hannah Carlson, if you're fans of Hannah's. Her Christmas book that came out in Sweden, I think, last Christmas, is due out in the UK in September in a English version, and America. But even, I'm just trying to decide whether to do these the same colour. No, I think I'm going to do this bit. I'm going to make them sort of dark in the middle, just how Johanna's drawn it. But she is drawing a new book, and she's been sharing little spoilers on her, and I think it's a Halloween book. So that could be very exciting for quite a lot of people. So Hannah unofficially looks like she's got a Halloween book coming out after her Christmas book. But the Halloween book would of course come out in a non-English edition first, as her books do, and of course there'll be the option to buy it from abroad and ship it in. I did that with Atlantis, and got it before it came out in English. Now I'm going to do these smaller shapes with this colour. I'm just going to block them in, but I haven't coloured that one very much though. Underwatery stuff is not, although I don't mind colouring it, it's not my favourite. I prefer flowers and leaves, and trees and things like that. I'm okay with I can do buildings, but sometimes I just can't decide what colour to do them. And yeah, dragons and eggs, they're okay occasionally, but what I'm not so keen on is colouring stuff, you know, like office equipment that Johanna had in her Rooms of Wonder and things like that. I don't mind doing it occasionally, but I wouldn't, you know, doing it all the time. It's not so much fun. I think the thing with organic items like flowers and leaves is they can grow anyhow in any way. You know, they're not always uniform, they're not always the right colour, if you know what I mean. You know, they don't always quite grow right, so you've got an excuse for making little mistakes, and it's fine because it could be right. And I just think also the colours, you know, there's a big choice colour wise. You can do whatever you wish, sort of thing. And yeah, I think it's interesting because there's a lot of talk at the moment about how being in nature is so good for us and that sort of thing, and I know not everyone gets to be able to do that, but I think as a younger person I would have poo-pooed that and just thought it was silly nonsense. But as I'm getting older, I'm beginning to think there's probably something in it. And as much as I dislike gardening and being in my garden, I'm actually today, before lunch, I'm going to go and buy some more flowers and plants, I think, and try and make it a nicer outdoor environment just to look at through the window, to try and lift mood and things like that, you know. Mine's fine, but others in the family I think sometimes could do with a bit of a helping hand, shall we say. And I can't always influence that by, you know, I'd love it if they would all read books on happiness and do meditation and have positive affirmations and all that sort of thing, but they don't. But I thought, well, maybe if I just put a few nice bright happy colours, that's a step in the right direction. My son's just laughing, it's nice. So that's my plan. I've also got some garden benches that I need to, well, some kitchen benches that I need to varnish. I'm going to get some yacht varnish and put them out, and get those out so you can sit out and just do a few things. We were going to actually have the whole garden done properly, but husband cut his work hours, so we're going to have to just do a few things, but that's okay. The change that I was going to do was to, in the main part of the garden there's gravel, and it's going to get that taken up and get the garden properly levelled, which it isn't. Oh, excuse me, and then get some slabs put down, but that isn't going to happen. So we'll just put some plants in instead. We want something to grow down over our little wall at the back, and I said I wanted yeah, some flower, but my husband says that's not the one I want. He says I want albrecia, which is lasts all year round, not the flowers but the plant lasts all year. This is Purple Lake Deep, this is really dark. I'm going to use this for a few bits now, and he says it will last through the winter, so even if we have no colour we'll have some greenery, so I think that's a good idea. Sometimes he remembers things. He studied horticulture but he doesn't always remember, but we've got to see what they've got, because you know, it might be the wrong time of year, they might not stock that particular thing, you know, all those things, so we just got to go and see what there is. He also wants to get some more grasses to plant, because we put some in and they seem to be doing it okay, and he wants some on the other side of the garden as well, so that's fine. But one of them is brown, and my sons are like, well, it's dead. I'm like, no. That's the colour it's supposed to be. Just wanted some different coloured ones. Anyway, I'm not particularly keen on that one, but you know, the compromise and all that, at least it's colour and it should last the winter, so you know, it's better than nothing. We need to do the hands at some point. I must remember. I can just imagine me finishing and not doing them. I just heard the letterbox, I think. I am expecting one letter, but that won't come yet for a few weeks, so I don't know what that is. It's probably just some sort of advert. We've got local council elections coming up, so we're getting all sorts of information through. Nothing so far that has been of any interest to me. I find it very frustrating, because the local councillors work on local issues, which is great, and things like planning. They do things like bins and rubbish, and local planting, parks, gardens, flower boxes, litter, and you know, things like that. Good, great. They should, because they know far more about it than anyone at sort of national level. But when you get the paraphernalia through the door for the election, it all talks about what's happening at national level. Oh, our political party is doing this and this and this, and you're like, that's all very well, but how's that going to affect me on a local basis? You know, the one I had the other day said your bins aren't being emptied often enough, and I'm like, yes they are. Because I think they are. So you're telling me how to think. So we'll see. Quite often the person who is in at the moment comes around the door. I have a nice little chat with him, and I said to him last time he came round, you know, what sort of influence and power do you have? And he went, none really. And I thought, well, at least you're being honest. But I talked to him about some very local issue that was happening, and said, you know, were the council going to get involved with buying this piece of land that the public wanted to buy to protect it, you know, because it was up for sale. It's got a public footpath through it. They wanted to keep it, the moment the public just use it for walking, and the whole set of fields, and they want to buy it. And I said, you know, council going to get involved? And he said no. He said, I'm supporting the group, but he said if the council get involved, it just gets very bureaucratic, and things can't happen as quickly and things like that. He says far better actually for them not to get involved. I was like, okay, again, honest. But I don't think they have a lot of money either, you know, spare funding. They do have funds that charities can use and things like that, which is rather nice, and I wish they'd sort of let people know a bit more about those. I'm going to just do this little bit on the tail. And now I need to think about these hands. I've got one purple left that I haven't used, which is the purple lake, and I think I might use that just because they'll look a little bit different. Now I'm looking at that fang just as I'm colouring here, which is a bit dangerous, or else I might end up colouring out the lines. But I don't think it does need some white. There's a tiny, tiny bit of purple on there, but I don't think I'm going to worry about that, probably. Now I want the lower parts of the, I want to say fingers, to be a little bit darker because they'd be more shadowy. Like, now this one I'm trying to think. Oh, creak. My desk is creaking. I'm leaning hard against it. It's going, no. There we go. Now, I want to do a little bit of shadow. I did mention that right at the beginning. And I'm going to use one of the really dark greys or a black. Let me have a little look. I'm going to use the Mars black for the shadow on the egg because it's a brownie colour, really, really dark, and I think it will just work with the gold that I've put there. So under the items, I'm just going to put a little bit. And particularly the actual dragon. So the hands here and this one. So you'd be casting a bit of a shadow. These items might be actually quite close to the egg, so they might not be casting so much of a shadow. But our dragon. Now as you come across the central part, it's a lot lighter, so you don't need to put down quite as much colour to get the same impact of shadow, whereas here we need to layer up a bit because it's darker. There we go. Now I think I'm just going to go under this bit a little bit. You don't have to do all this. Now again here, a bit lighter if I can. It's a bit tricky. I think if you don't want to do all of this, just do the bit under the dragon. I think that's the most important bit. Do a bit under there and there. And then we'll go under these bits. Ready for my coffee. I made a coffee before I started this. I left it next door though. How are we doing for time? Oh, we've got ages before my boys have to go. Well, not ages, but quite a while. Yeah, my husband was saying, oh, we're going to town before lunch. I was like, no, I'll be too hungry. I said, if we go to the garden centre before lunch, then I won't be in a car, and we can do that, and then we'll walk after lunch. I figured, especially as it's sunny, I find my energy gets zapped so quickly from the heat. But I find being very hydrated helps a lot, so I need to be aware of that. Make sure I have plenty of drinks. I can always get a drink in town. We could do that. We could have a little drink together. I need to go to the library, take my books back. They were very good. I'd like to read them again, but not too soon, so I thought I'd take them back. And I can always borrow them again another time. Or buy them, have them for my birthday. Maybe, but there are some other books I'd like for my birthday which I can't get from the library. Right, I am happy with my dragon. Come out so you can see the whole page and what makes a big difference. Take my piece of paper out. There we go. Now, oh, he's wonky. Or is he? Or is it my camera is wonky? I don't know. Anyway, there we go. There he is, all done. So I'm trying to find some other Eastery themed or egg themed, chick themed, rabbit themed type things for you up until and including sort of Easter weekend. So I'm going to have fun choosing a few more things in a minute, but for now, oh, nose. Right, hang on now. I think Purple Lake Deep. You could do it black if you want. There we go. My other thing to say is if you want to do some white highlights, go for it with your white pen. I'm just looking away swatch. Yeah, every colour that I've used is safe to put white pen on. It won't go neon pink or anything. So you can put dots on the dragon or some shine on the gemstones and things. I'm just happy because I've managed to fade it towards the middle of it, my gemstone, and I think they look fine as they are. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a super day. Please do like, subscribe and comment, and happy colouring.